Today I'm coming on to talk about one of my favourite books of all time, which is Letters from Thailand by Botan. Here is the book in question, translated by Susan F. Kepner. It was originally published in Thai in 1969, and the English translation was 2002. This is a book about Tan Suang U, who emigrates from China to Thailand post-World War II. And it's a series of letters that span, I think, a very long time, I'd say 2 decades. The book starts with this little prologue where the letters are found. So I remember reading it for the first time. I don't think for the whole of it, but maybe for the first 50 pages, I actually thought it wasn't fiction. I thought it was non-fiction, and then I realised it came more Indian. It's so silly, but basically it follows, as I mentioned, Tan Suang U, who sends letters to his mother, who he absolutely adores, who still lives in China, while he navigates life in Bangkok in Thailand. It follows him getting married, getting a job, doing really well in his career. They settle in Chinatown in Bangkok, and then the whole way throughout he has this disdain for the Thai way of life. He's very stubborn in his ways. It's not like you agree with him, you're kind of like, okay, come on. And about having children who very easily assimilate to the life in Bangkok, what he thinks is not acceptable, not the proper way of life, not the proper way of being. He has very traditional views of life, traditional views of gender roles, traditional roles, views of almost everything. And it's this juxtaposition between his life in Thailand, still trying to maintain the Chinese way of life that he knew, and talking to his mother. It seems like she never replies to any of these letters, by the way, and for reasons you find out at the start of the book. He thinks, that way of life that he had and the way he grew up and the way his mother was the correct way, and not this way. So he's a bit of a grumpy man, but you do love him. You still love him throughout it, even though you don't agree with the stuff he does, because it is just a tale as old as time. Someone moving somewhere that's totally different to them. They cannot, some people very easily change the way they are. They come into new cultures or ways of life and go, oh, this is amazing, go to it straight away, and other people just don't. And having his kids and seeing them rebel in his mind and so easily, it must be sad for him at the same time, because he so loves his motherland, his mother, and he can't believe that this is his life, although he loves it and he becomes successful and all that. But you've got this, these two sides of his mind really at war. The one where Thailand, Bangkok has obviously given him an amazing life and he's done so well, but then he still hangs on to these traditional values. You go through so many different life events for him, and I love a book that is generational. And this isn't like spanning generations, but even the 20 or so years that it passes, so much happens. People grow up in front of your eyes, love happens, heartbreak, loss, and they're all in these letters from Tan to his mother in China. There's no other, it's literally in letters that he's written, so you get so used to his voice and his way of explaining how things go around. And even though you're getting quite a biased opinion, because it's only coming from his point of view, I still felt like I understood some of the other characters pretty well and what they thought. Even though he is not happy with some events and how things go, you feel like you get an almost unbiased opinion of his children, his wife, his people around him, his business, these people he works with, everyday community, everyday life, because these letters are extremely detailed. And what else was I going to say? The author, who I didn't really actually obviously know anything about, because the reason I picked up this book was because my brother picked it up when he was travelling in Thailand years ago, I believe. You can correct me if I'm wrong there. And I had read Pachinko by Min Jin Lee. Probably about, I don't know, very many years ago now. And I think it was when it came out, or similar time to when it came out. My mum's our neighbour in where I grew up gave it to my mum. My mum said I'd love it, and I said, God, I love that book so much, Mum, another of my favourites. And I said, you have another book similar to it, something, you know, family strives, generational. And she said, oh, well, why don't you try this book that Dermot brought home from Thailand. So, and I really, really, really loved it. This is a book I've never seen on the internet so far, so I'm hoping that I'm bringing a new book into your life by a Thai writer I've never read since or before. I really should read some more. I'm just realising how silly that is. But any Thai writers, she is actually born and raised in Bangkok, but her parents were Chinese. So I guess she's writing from experience or from, I don't know, because I'm neither Chinese or Thai, whether or not this is true to life for Chinese immigrants in Thailand. But it's brilliant, and I love hearing, not only is this a very, you know, about his feelings and about family life and about, you know, the struggles with emigrating and missing your family, your old way of life. He explains or she explains through our letter writer, Tan, explains, you know, the atmosphere in Bangkok and the weather and the richness of it all so well that I feel like I'm there as well. It's just beautiful writing and really well translated as well. It's maybe something you've never heard of before. You've decided, oh, maybe I should try some Thai literature or a different book to what you're usually seeing online. I do really, really recommend it. Sometimes I find it hard to go and pick up a book that I've not heard anything about before, because I find my reading very precious and I want to make sure it's a good read. I feel more so that way since obviously the rise of BookTok and BookTube, whereas back in the day I used to just pick up what was in the house or was recommended or bought for me for my birthday, or, you know, obviously there was really popular books that I would just pick up because they were really popular, but not all of my choices were dictated by what I saw online. I know I'm about to do that for you, but I'm hoping that it's something new, something fresh, and it's even though it's a very old book, it's really, really good. Actually must reread it because it's been, before I moved to London, it must be about 10 years ago I read this book. No, maybe I read it when I just moved to London. No, yeah, because I was living in London when I read Pachinko, so it must be about 7 or 8 years ago I read this book. And I still think about it every time I look up. I go, I need to talk about this book, and I am actually going to talk about my favourite books of all time, or my 10 favourite books, because I'm hoping, because I've wanted to talk about this book for so long because I haven't seen it anywhere, and I'm hoping I can get other people to read it. Let me know what you think of it if you do pick it up, and if you like this video, please give it a like, maybe give me a follow, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Bye.